Hi, Alice.
Hi.
What season is this now?
Fall.
Yeah, it's fall. And we already got some decorations up for the fall. Alice, what do you got there?
A puppy.
That's your puppy? What does he do? Oh, he talks. Do it some more. Let's hear everything he says. You like him? So Alice, do you know what we're going to talk about today?
No.
We're going to talk about that guy over there. Who's that big guy? The tall one.
Captain Marvel.
Yeah, that's Captain Marvel. He's normally Billy Batson, but then what does he say to turn into Captain Marvel?
Shazam.
Shazam! And who's the girl? Do you remember her name?
Mary Marvel.
Yeah, Mary Marvel. And there was also Captain Marvel Jr. We don't have an action figure for him. But who's that other guy there?
Superman.
Yeah, it's Superman. And he looks like he was pretending to be Captain Marvel, but then his outfit got torn. And that's kind of funny because if you know the history of Captain Marvel from the 1940s, Fawcett Comics, which published Captain Marvel, actually got sued by DC Comics saying that he was an imitation of Superman. So do you know why we have Captain Marvel out here today?
Why?
Because Daddy just bought a bunch of Captain Marvel comics. And I wanted to show everybody what I got. So let's take a look. So this is a stack of 34 different Captain Marvel comics that I got. All of them are Golden Age. So they're all from the early 1950s and late 1940s. And as you'll see, the quality on these is pretty remarkable. And it's a lot to go through here, but I just wanted to show these off because, you know, I bought a lot of collections over the last couple of years. I bought a lot of Silver Age comic collections and Bronze and modern stuff, but you don't typically come across a collection of Golden Age comics from a private seller. So effectively, this guy had inherited these comics from his wife's father, and he was selling them as a lot. So this gentleman who originally had them since the 1940s. I believe that he really only had these, and there was two other comic books that I didn't purchase. One was Tarzan, and one was Flash Gordon, and they were just kind of, you know, typical Dell comics, nothing really impressive. So I passed on those, but these are the Captain Marvel comics that I got. Captain Marvel Adventures 113, and as you can see there, Talkie Tawny is on the cover, and they're having a duel. And this guy's from October of 1950. And as you'll see here, the quality of these is just really, really great. And it's impressive. You know, I've come across some Golden Age comics before. I actually recently just bought a collection of cowboy comics, like Roy Rogers and stuff like that. Red Ryder, Lone Ranger, no superhero stuff, but those comics were effectively destroyed. They were water damaged. Some of them had rodent chews. They just were in terrible, terrible shape. And, you know, it's kind of predictable because when you have a comic book that's 70 years old or older than that, they're going to get destroyed, right? Like they're just going to, bad things are going to happen to a piece of paper over the course of 70 years. Also, you know, when people originally thought that they were just kind of throwaway type newspapers effectively, right? Like these were just kind of read and meant to be thrown out. This is Captain Marvel Adventures 112. So again, it's really just remarkable that these comics here, these first two that we're looking at are from 1950, so 72 years old, that they're just in this great shape. No water damage, no rodent chews, nothing like that. So I'm not going to flip through every single one because it would take forever, but again, just kind of want to show you all of the issues that I got. This is 111. This one is 110. It has a little bit of a spine roll and tear up there, but, you know, still, can't really complain. And you may notice these are a little more cartoonish than certainly Superman, but even Batman when it was Batman and Robin. I mean, you know, when you have a character like Talkie Tawny. But that was the style of Captain Marvel in the 1940s. And Captain Marvel was very successful. Here's 109. As I mentioned with Superman, one of the reasons that DC sued Fawcett Comics over Captain Marvel was because Captain Marvel was actually outselling Superman in the 1940s. And Captain Marvel was actually one of the only a few characters who had movie serials back in the 1940s. So there was Superman, there was Batman, there was Captain America from Timely, which is now Marvel Comics, and then there was Captain Marvel from Fawcett. He actually had his own movie serials in the 1940s. So again, that's just how popular he was. That's a really cool page there, huh? Look at that. That's some awesome art. The aliens. This one's pretty cool. Fortunately, this one's a little more beaten up. I don't know if it's just the size of the pages. Sometimes with these older comics, the pages weren't cut correctly, so they kind of stick out a little bit. This even in the Silver Age, it's somewhat common where you'll see them kind of folded, and then when you unfold them, they'll stick out. It almost looks like that's what happened here. I don't know if maybe not. Actually, I think they might be disconnected from that staple. There's Captain Marvel Adventures 108 from May of 1950. And again, just pretty minimal damage for books of this age. It's just really remarkable. Captain Marvel Adventures 105. Captain Marvel Adventures 103. So now I'm trying to handle these carefully. So now we're back to 1949. So back into the 1940s with these. And again, it's cartoonish artwork, but even still, it's I would say it's better than the artwork of today for most comics. Captain Marvel Adventures 102. It's a great cover. Unfortunately, the corner of the cover is missing, but that's a really awesome cover. 97. It's a weird one. This one's a little lighter. I don't know if maybe it's missing pages. It feels lighter than the other ones. It's 96. Yeah, it's definitely, I don't know, this one here is noticeably lighter than all the others so far. Oh, there's some early Disney, huh? 1949 Disney. Anyway, 96. There's 95. It's a pretty cool cover too. And also too, in case any of you folks don't know, Shazam, which is now Captain Marvel's name, they had to change it because of, in the 1960s, because Captain Marvel was not being published anymore, Marvel Comics put out their own Captain Marvel. And I think many people know that today. The current Captain Marvel in the MCU is Carol Danvers. So DC Comics, when they acquired Captain Marvel, had to start presenting him as Shazam, which is the magic word that Billy Batson says to become Captain Marvel. And here it says exactly what Shazam is an acronym for. If that's not going to be blurry. Solomon, wisdom. Hercules, strength. Atlas, stamina. Zeus, power. Achilles, courage. Mercury, speed. So that's what that's for. This is nice too. They show all of the different Fawcett comics that were being put out. So Captain Marvel Adventures, Wiz Comics, that's where Captain Marvel first appeared in the first issue of Wiz Comics, which was erroneously published as Wiz Comics #2, but really was the first issue of Wiz Comics. Captain Marvel Jr., Master Comics, I do have one of those that I purchased at a show before. The Marvel Family, Fawcett, Funny Animals, Tom Mix Western, that was something that I purchased in that cowboy collection I told you about, Tom Mix Westerns. Ozzie and Babs, Monty Hale Western, that was another one. Western Hero, Nyoka, the Jungle Girl, Hopalong Cassidy, and Gabby Hayes Western. That was another one. So you can see already in the late 1940s, comics were already transitioning from superheroes to cowboys. So that was another reason also that Fawcett eventually submitted in their lawsuit against DC Comics, being sued by DC Comics, why they relented, just because they didn't think it was worth fighting for Captain Marvel anymore, because superhero comics became more unpopular, and by the early 1950s, there was really more people were buying cowboy comics and crime and horror, and then again that eventually led to the book Seduction of the Innocent and the congressional hearings where there was a pushback against horror comics, and that led to the Comics Code Authority. So here we have issue number 93, Captain Marvel Adventures 85. This one's a little more beaten up. It's a little more, even like if I had come across this independently of everything else, I would say this one was in good shape. That's how comparatively good everything else is. Like, it's still, it's got a little bit of wear, a little bit of little tiny rips, some tanning along the edges, but it's not that bad. As you may have noticed, "Holy moly" was Captain Marvel's catchphrase. And Captain Marvel was also known as the Big Red Cheese. That was his nickname. The Big Red Cheese. That guy kind of looks like Impossible Man, doesn't he? That alien. He looks very similar. Actually, I have one over here I can show you. This is Impossible Man from Marvel Comics, who first appeared in Fantastic Four. Actually, this reprints that story here. I don't know. He looks a little similar, doesn't he? That guy. Oh, wait. Well, look at that. Here he's pink. That's odd. That's kind of trippy, huh? Kind of weird for a 1940s. Interesting. Alright, so those are my Captain Marvel adventures, but I have many other Captain Marvel titles here. This is Captain Marvel Storybook number 4. And this is from 1949. Look at that art. So these are like, it's bigger pictures with the text here. It's like almost like a pulp. It's like a combination between a comic book and a pulp with huge splash pages. I don't know how typical that was for the 1940s. Captain Marvel Jr. number 87. So that was another thing too about Captain Marvel, is that he had Captain Marvel Jr. and Mary Marvel, and they kind of inspired Superboy and Supergirl, which is kind of ironic. And actually Otto Binder, who worked on Captain Marvel in the 1940s, he ended up, after Fawcett Comics folded, he ended up going to DC and helped to invent Supergirl. So you can kind of see how Mary Marvel led to Supergirl. So this is the Marvel family, and the rest of these are all Marvel family. So this is number 62 from 1951. So this is the most recent comic that I got in this collection, 1951. And again, just really great shape. The corner's missing, but overall not that bad. Number 53. That's a cool cover too. Number 51. This is from 1950. It's funny because it's cartoonish art, but it really is it's quality. Like Billy Batson, like he with the big pupil eyes, like he looks kind of silly, But like, look at Captain Marvel Jr. Like, that's very realistic. It's an interesting art style. That's a cool cover, huh? The Four Horsemen Ride Again. Marvel Family number 48. 1950. So, move these down a little bit. This is Marvel Family number 46 from 1950. The edges there are a little roughed. A little rough. Number 44. Also 1950. Number 42. That's December of 1949. The thing about these Golden Age comics is they're very rare to come by, even at comic shops. Like, there are certain comic shops that sell Golden Age comics, and there are comic shops that just don't, because they don't have them, they can't get them, right? Like, it's very, very hard to get Golden Age comics, even for shops and for dealers. So I only know of like really one shop or two shops in Connecticut I really know of that, you know, have Golden Age comics in stock, but typically you have to like go to a show to actually see Golden Age comics available. This is number 39 from 1949. Number 37. The Earth Changer. Some nice science fiction in here too. And again, you almost see it as inspiring Superman to some degree, like the focus on science fiction and whatnot. Like that kind of was the focus in Superman in the 1950s and 1960s. Here's number 36. Here's number 35. Alice, aren't these cool old comic books?
Yeah.
Do you know what Shazam stands for? It stands for the wisdom of Solomon, the strength of Hercules, the stamina of Atlas, the power of Zeus, the courage of Achilles, the speed of Mercury. So Billy Batson just says, Shazam! And then he turns into Captain Marvel. Isn't that awesome?
Mm-hmm. He's blue.
Okay, be very careful. These are very, very old. 1949. Yeah, Captain Marvel Jr. is blue. But Mary Marvel and Captain Marvel, they're red. In fact, you know what they called Captain Marvel?
What?
They called him the Big Red Cheese. This is number 30 from 1948. So here we go. We're back into 1948 now.
Yeah.
This one, I was gonna say, almost looks like it's trimmed, but the spine is off center. Actually, wait, what happened here? Oh my God. It is a double cover. I have a Golden Age Marvel Family double cover. That is the coolest thing. This is probably the coolest comic book I own. Isn't that awesome?
Yeah.
I can't believe it. I cannot believe I got a double cover Marvel Family from 1948. That is freaking awesome, man. That is so cool. In case you folks don't know, double covers are very rare, even for modern comics. That is so freaking awesome. I can't believe it's a double cover. Wow. Well, I hit the jackpot on that one. Holy cow, man. I can't believe it's a double cover. I'm astonished by that. Look how clean that is. What makes it even better is that, like, look how this cover, the second cover, was protected. And like you see, like, just the even more vibrant colors. That is astonishing. Wow, I have not gotten a single comic graded by CGC. I'm tempted to send that one in. That is just remarkable. Wow. Okay, folks, well, nothing's going to top that, but we're going to keep going. So, okay, please be very, very, very careful with these, okay? So here's number 22 from April of 1948. This one's a little more beaten up. Maybe we'll find another double cover. Here's number 12. Like that? Marvel Family battles the Iron Horseman. That's from 1947. We're back to 1947, guys. All right, there's 2 left. Guess what numbers they are? They're number 3 and number 2. I don't have a number 1, but I got number 3 and number 2. And this is from 1946. So this is, you know, within a year of World War II ending. I think the newsprint quality on this is a little different. The paper seems a little more tan. I mean, it is older, obviously, but some math on there. But I'll take it. I'll take it. And then there's number 2. From June of 1946, only 8 years after the appearance of Superman, this comic book came out. In fact, while we're here, I think I'll show you guys one other comic book, because I don't think I did a video on it. And since we're looking at really old comics, I think you might be interested in that too. So let me show you one other old book, not related to this purchase. It's something I bought on eBay recently, but let me show you guys that too real quick. So since we're showing old comics, I'm just going to show you guys this one too. This is Famous Funnies, number 4, from, that's not a typo, folks, November of 1934. This is literally one of the first comic books ever made, proper comic books. Famous Funnies was the first monthly comic book that was put out, and this is the 4th issue. The guy that had this actually, I don't believe that he had number 1, but he had 2 and 3. So people were bidding on those, and you know, it was just too rich for my blood. And this one has defects, but they luckily weren't bidding on this one as much. Oh, it's Connie. I thought it said Kami. But yeah, folks, this is literally one of the first comic books ever made. 4 years before Superman. Almost 4 years. Here's Buck Rogers. It's funny how, like, every page seemingly is its own strip. You know, it's comics like these that I'm really drawn to. Like, there's certain people who just love, you know, CGC 9.8s and are all about like the modern stuff. And I do like some modern comics, but when you look at something like this, like that's literally 4 years before the first Superman was published, the first Action Comics, it's just remarkable to actually flip through it. Like, this book has been alive for longer than any of my grandparents. And it's just, again, it's got some damage, right? Like here's a wrap that's disconnected. So, I mean, that one wrap is out, but look at this. See, they used to like kind of like dress up things. Paper dolls, I think they call them. So you can say there's a dotted line game that was done. But overall, again, like, if you guys saw those cowboy comics I got from the 50s, you understand how severely these things can be destroyed over the course of several decades. Look at all the text on these pages. Like, how did anybody read all this? It would take like an hour to read all this. Just the amount of content in here too. Like, think about this. For 10 cents, look at all of the content that you're getting here. Like, this is like longer than a graphic novel. So just wanted to show you guys that one too. Famous Funnies number 4. But guys, I am over the moon, obviously, as you can tell, about that one double cover. Which one was it? Number 30, right? Marvel Family number 30, double cover. I'm gonna have to go research what the first double cover there is, or that got graded by CGC. But really happy about that one, and happy about the purchase overall. Again, I have come across very few Golden Age collections, or typically there's just, you know, late Golden Age books with mostly Silver Age books, but I'm amazed that I came across this collection. Amazed about the double cover, and just ecstatic about the conditions too. So really happy about this. Thanks for watching, folks, and until next time, Shazam!